Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will tell you how to make a beautiful basket organizer that I prepared with XX lace yarn of spaghetti yarn. I will use a ready-made wooden base like this. I want to show you in detail. Again, I shared it with you step by step in the video in its entirety. Look, I put leather handles. It turned out really stylish and beautiful like this. We can use it in many places, in bedrooms, kitchens, children's rooms. Apart from that, it can be used as a bread basket like this. You can put your makeup materials in it. You can put your child's small toys. You can place your spices like this in the kitchen. In other words, it is a beautiful product that we can use in many places we can think of. It even became a beautiful basket where we can put our towels like this in the bathroom. I tried to share the detailed recipe with you step by step. I hope it will be useful. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. You can subscribe to our channel for free, like the video, and leave your comments. I would be really happy. Let's move on to our recipe. I will use XX lace yarn of spaghetti yarn for my knitting. I would like to share the feature of the yarn with you right away. Its blend is 80% cotton, 20% polyester, 250 grams in weight, and 65 meters in length. Its texture is very soft and the knitting is quite comfortable. It has many different color options. You can visit organizerdiy.com to see different color options. By the way, I would like to share a nice discount news from Spaghettier, special to my subscribers. You can complete your shopping with a 10% discount with the code GULKEN10, which you can use for purchases of 100 teraliters and above from Spaghettier.com. This code does not expire. You can use it whenever you want. I would like to thank the Spaghettier family for this nice discount. Now look here, we will prepare our knitting with a ready-made base. The size of this wooden base I used is 18 centimeters in diameter. Look, I will use a wooden base with holes like this. Again, I will write where I got this in the description section of the video. You can look there, and we will use two different crochet hooks. Here we will start with a 4mm crochet hook first. The reason for this is that we will use a small crochet hook so that we can easily pass the yarn through the holes here. We will use 4mm first, then we will use 6mm crochet hook to knit. The color I will use here will be beige. Again, I will add the link of the color I used in the description section below. You can access it by clicking there. First, I will put my 6mm aside. I will start with a 4mm crochet hook. Look, I'm sinking right here from any hole like this. I take my yarn to the end of the hook and pass it through the point. After passing this short will remain here, I will hide this last. After removing our stitch here, since we are working with a small numbered crochet hook at this stage, it is necessary to knit the knitting by loosening our hands a little without tightening our hands, because when you knit with this, the stitches will gather a lot. When you switch to a large crochet hook later, there will be a spread. There will be an imbalance. In order to provide this balance, we definitely keep our hands loose while working with a small numbered crochet hook. We start with a single chain right away. Look, our short yarn is left here. We will knit this by hiding it later. Look, we have knitted the first nest with the first chain here. We immediately sink into another hole. Look, we sink into the hole in the plate and take the yarn from the back like this and take out the stitch. And definitely, look, I am stretching it a little. I'm filling in 2 loops. I am knitting a tight stitch by passing the yarn I have wrapped through the 2 loops. Look, we started with a chain. We knitted a single crochet. Now I'm stretching the stitch again. We take out a stitch from here by inserting it into our next skin. I definitely stretch it, as if we were knitting with a 6mm crochet hook. Then we insert a single crochet into your next hole again. We take out a stitch from here and obtain 2 stitches. We wrapped it. We will knit our single crochets like this by passing them through both of them. Now we proceed like this until the end of the row by inserting 1 single crochet into each hole. We have come to the end of our row here. We have 1 last hole left. We knit 1 single crochet by inserting into this again. Then we stretch the stitch, and now I get a 4mm crochet edge here. Now we switch to our 6mm crochet hook. Now look here, I don't need a small numbered crochet hook since I won't insert the holes anymore. After knitting the last single crochet, look, I passed the chain point. We insert to the top of the first single crochet we knitted. We take off a loop from here and pass the loop we took off by slipping it through the other loop. We take off a loop from here and insert it into the top space of the tight needle in another row. We will insert the loop we took off by slipping it through the other loop. Now we will make slips like this by inserting once to the top of each tight needle. We insert like this and make our slips to the top point. Now look at the first point we started. We continue until the point where the short yarn is by making slips like this until the last part. We have come to the end of our row. Look, we make our slips here by inserting into the last spaces. Now look at the last point we will insert. Look at the point where the chain is. We insert into this top space and make our slips. Now look at this last point. We are at the point where the short yarn is. After looking at this last point, we insert the TIR again into the space we looked at. The loop is here. Look, I stretch the loop like this. I take it to the end of the hook and pass it through this space, and we have made a lock like this. Let's shorten it a little here. We have passed the loop through this gap. Now our loop is here. We will hide this short yarn by taking it over the hook. From this point, look, let's take a loop and let's not extend our loop too much. Look, the short yarn is on the hook. We put the loop here on our hook. We take our yarn from here and make a chain, and this is the first point we started. Then we will continue knitting by hiding this short yarn. Now look at the points we will sink from now on. Don't let this short yarn confuse you too much. The point we will sink from now on is like this. When we look at the inside, you see two broken lines in this outer wing. Look, we will sink to this point. We will also sink to one of the broken lines. We will continue our knitting by sinking to these 2 points. Then look at another point that looks like a spike, this single wing and one of the 2 broken lines here. We will continue our knitting by sinking to these 2. Look, I want to show it like this. The outer wing here is the first of the 2 dotted lines, and we will have worked our knitting by doing so. Now we have gone up with 1 chain here. We will put the short rope in between. As I said, look, the first point that comes immediately is the outer wing, and by doing so, we will do so, by doing so, we will do so, by doing so, we will do so, we will do it by doing. We take off a loop from here. We have 2 stitches, we knit a single crochet immediately. See another point, we insert our hook into the outer wing and the first of the 2 broken lines. Let's hide the very short yarn in between. We take off a loop from the point and knit a single crochet. I hope it was understandable. We insert the short yarn into the outer wing and the first of the 2 broken lines and knit our single crochets. Look, the first point we started with is a chain. Now look at the spaces I showed you. It is easily inserted by inserting like this. Look, I want to show it like this. We insert these 2 lines and knit a single crochet stitch directly. Look, it looks like this. Okay, so this time I did something different. I didn't normally knit this way, but this method seemed easy to me. I started by saying how it would be if I did it like this. It was an example. It fits really well. Now, when we come to the end of the row, how we will go up immediately, I will describe a different way of going up again. Let's finish our row now. We have come to the end of our row by knitting 1 single crochet to each point. Look, we are at the last point. We have come to the end of our row by inserting into the outer single wing and the first of the 2 broken lines. We take a loop from here and make our single crochet. After knitting the single crochet, we stretch the loop slightly. We had 1 chain starting point here. And look, this is the top space of the first single crochet. I insert this top space from the inside to the outside and take this loop to the end of my hook like this. And I'm passing this loop through here. After passing the stitch to this side, there was a point where I started with a chain. I am sinking right in the middle. I am sinking right in the middle of the first point where we started with a chain. And see the stitches waiting here. I take my yarn to the end of the hook and take 1 stitch from this point I entered. Let's not lose this again. See, I took 1 stitch from here. I take this hook. I take the stitch I passed from here, I take my hook again, I obtain 2 stitches in this way. Then by wrapping the yarn around the hook again and passing it through these 2 stitches, I obtain my first single crochet in the shape of a spike. Then we sink into the exact middle of another single crochet. Look, the single crochet in the shape of a V. It should come out from behind like this. Look, the stitches should stop on the right and left. The dotted line should be exactly in the middle so that we get a regular look. We are sinking into the single crochet again from here and knitting a single crochet. Again, we will only work with the single crochet technique. We will only do the spike pattern. In other words, we create the spike pattern by sinking into the exact middle of the single crochets. The next single crochet that comes, look, the top space is here. The single crochet, look, the body looks like a V. We are inserting right in the middle of it. When we insert in the middle, look, there should be loops on the right and left in a V shape like this. The dotted line is visible here. We insert at this point and pull out a loop, and we knit a single crochet. When you hold this in your hand, you will see the point you will insert more easily. It is a very enjoyable and fast-paced pattern. Look, by inserting in the middle of each single crochet in this way, we have obtained the spike pattern. Now we will proceed in this way until the end of the row. I will be sharing the end and beginning of the row with you once again. We have come to the end of our second row. Now look, the last single crochet we will inserting into this in the same way. We remove the stitch and knit our last single crochet. After knitting the single crochet, we stretch the stitch slightly like this. Look, it's not the first point we started at. This is the second single crochet we knitted here. This is the first point we started at. This is the second point. We insert the stitch into the top space. We take the stitch from here and pass it to the inside. Look, the stitch is waiting here. I removed it on the hook. The first point we started at was this. I insert it right in the middle. Look, I inserted it in the same way. Look, I inserted the stitch here. I remove a new stitch with the hook from here. I hold this stitch so that it doesn't escape. Did I remove the stitch from here? Look, I'm arranging it like this. First, I take the stitch that I removed from the front, then I take the first stitch that I passed through here. Look, you can adjust the size here. These 2 stitches look like this by taking the end of my hook and passing it through these 2 stitches. I have made the single crochet of the first row in this way. Then we do the same ending and beginning again. Then I continue knitting single crochets by inserting into each single crochet in the row. When we finish and start like this, it looks really neat. You can extend it as much as you want in this way. It is very regular. Now let's extend our knitting enough by making the end and beginning as we have described to you. I will share with you how many rows I knitted right away. Now we knitted 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of single crochet in total here. This height is enough for me. If you want to make it higher, you can continue this. Now after knitting the last single crochet, look, we skip the first point we knitted. Look, we insert the top of the single crochet that comes after the first point here. Take a loop and slide it from our other loop. We insert the top of another single crochet, take a loop and slide it from the other loop. Now we knit like this. We will finish our last row by making slips. When you do this slip, a thickness is formed here. I want to show it right away. This is exactly the same as the slip we made on the base. The hardness here both makes it stand up straighter. Also, when using this, for example, it prevents the basket from warping here. This hardness gives us the beautiful result we want. Now let's proceed to the end of the row by making our slips in this way. Instead of making a slip, you can also make different transitions. You can also make decorations. For example, you can finish with a reverse single crochet if you want to make different decorations at this stage. Now let's make our slips. Let's share with you how we do the end of the row. Look, we have come to the end of our row here. We are making our slip by coming to the point of the first hill we started here. After this slip, let's cut our yarn sufficiently. We are removing it directly from our loop. At this stage, you can use a small numbered crochet hook again. It is more comfortable now. We will walk our yarn. Here, look, I am sinking through another space. I am passing this yarn through here. After passing it, Look, from the point where it came from here, from the point where the yarn came from, sinking again. Let's do it like this. We even pass our rope through this part to make it whole. Look at it this way. I will pass this rope again like this from the middle point. I will hide it here. Look, I am sinking from here. I pass it again from here and take it to this intermediate point. I take the inner part of the point that looks like a spike. That is, I will harden this point by passing it a few times here. Then we will hide this rope by passing it through the intermediate points. If you have any extra rope left, you can cut it off. By the way, the cleaning of this is asked. How will we clean wooden-based baskets? You cannot wash this. Since it is wood, the material we use will swell when it touches water. So first remove the dust with a damp cloth and shake it. Because it will get dusty as it sits. First, dust it by hitting it like this. After dusting it, you can also use a damp cloth or wet wipe. It would be better with a damp cloth, meaning without detergent. You can easily clean it inside and out by dusting it with a damp, wet cloth and wiping it. We don't need to wash it at all. If you dust it regularly, we have made a really useful basket like this that you can use for a long time. In other words, it can also be called an organizer. You can put soaps, towels, makeup materials, baby products, in other words, many things you can think of. In other words, you can use it as a bread basket in the kitchen, not just as an organizer. You can also have a nice basket like this on a decorative table in the kitchen, on the edge of your kitchen, where you can put your chocolates, etc. Now I finished it like this. I will sew leather handles. If you want, you can also make a knitted handle. If that recipe is requested, I have shared such baskets with handles on my channel before, or if you want to shoot new ones, I can shoot them again, God willing. Now I will use ready-made leather handles like this. I will mount these handles to my basket like this, facing each other. Let's mount them right away. These leather handles are really nice too. Now let's place them and share the final version of our basket with you right away. To mount my leathers, I will use Spaghetti Yarn's cotton macrame thread again. The same color is beige and this one is here. Look, I will place these leather handles with cotton macrame thread like this. I will use an etemi needle like this. Yes, we sewed our leather handles. By the way, I want to tell you this height right away. It is 6 centimeters high. Look, the leather handles really change the atmosphere of the basket. Look, I want to show you the other side. We should definitely iron it after knitting, so there will be no deterioration. As I said, if you clean it as well, as I mentioned, you will have a beautiful basket and organizer that you can use for many years. I worked with great pleasure. I hope you like it and try it too. One Umax Spaghetti Yarns XX recipe was enough for this basket. Our recipe was like this. I wish ease to those who will make it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see each other in the next video.